Today on This Old House, oh man, why is it so full of stuff? This is very unsettling.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done, but the bones of the structure are great, and the rest of the neighborhood, as you look around, is still in really, really good condition. We want to make sure it stays that way.
This season, we're in Detroit, Michigan, tackling 2 different projects.
Oh my word.
If this house is going to be saved, this is one less that we have to tear down.
Frank, you are a brave man to take on this project. You excited?
Yeah, where are you going to get started?
The Detroit family found a home with lots of potential. Now they're planning on doing most of the work themselves, but This Old House is here to help out. So what have you found up here?
Well, a bit of a surprise.
Can't wait to see what the finished product is going to be.
Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor and welcome back to This Old House here in Detroit. This city has teetered on the brink of collapse for years. We've all heard the stories about the bankruptcy and the abandoned houses. But there's a growing sense that it's not over for Detroit. Not yet. Many people are spending time and money to bring back what was once a trend-setting metropolis. But after a decade of abandonments, those people who have stuck it out here are worried that the house next to them might be the next house on the foreclosure list. Abandoned houses are like a cancer. They spread through the neighborhood. So there are a number of programs designed to turn things around. And today, we're here to learn about one of them. It's called Rehabbed and Ready, a collaboration between the Detroit Land Bank and corporate sponsors working together to rehabilitate abandoned properties and sell them at an affordable price. And one of the program's biggest boosters is the mayor of Detroit, Mike Duggan. Mr. Mayor, nice to meet you.
Kevin, good to meet you.
So, right off the top, is Detroit coming back?
Well, it's been pretty remarkable what's happened in the last 4 or 5 years. And, you know, this has been an interesting opportunity. With the home mortgage crisis in 2008 and 2009, a lot of beautiful homes were abandoned. And now we're seeing families taking the opportunity to move in.
So how bad was it? I mean, when that crisis hit? Give us some sense of perspective.
Well, Detroit's population's gone from 1.8 million to 700,000 over the last 50 years. So 1 million people left the city, and they didn't take their houses with them.
No.
So Detroit's been dealing with this for a long time. But what we saw in 2008 and 2009 was a completely different magnitude. That was the first time we saw people leaving beautiful homes, solid architecture. And at this point, in the last year, we've got 1,000 of these houses occupied that were vacant. We own another 3,000 houses that we think are in structurally sound shape, that are great bargains, and we're moving families in every week.
So this is amazing housing stock. I mean, these are houses of substance. It's clear that this was a very affluent city at one time.
Well, unlike New York and Chicago, which built vertically, I mean, they built in high rises, there was so much wealth in the early part of the last century in the auto industry that one auto plant worker could afford to buy a single family home with a backyard. And so what you had happen in Detroit that was unique is beautiful neighborhoods spread from one end of the city to the other.
So what's the goal? What are you hoping to get done in, say, the next year or two?
We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And so, you know, if we could get 100 houses a month that were vacant occupied, and that's what we've been doing, and put 1,000 houses in, that's another 3,000 people a year just into the neighborhoods, in addition to what's going on in downtown or midtown, you're going to see the population of Detroit start to climb, and I think it already is. All
right, well, we know you've got one of those projects right around the corner, so we are going to follow that throughout the process and watch someone get back into the house.
That'll be great.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Kevin.
Craig Foley is an executive at the Detroit Land Bank, which runs the Rehabbed and Ready program. Craig, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Kevin.
So you got a real gem here.
Absolutely. Diamond in the rough.
That's the way you guys think about it.
Well, we've got lots of diamonds in the rough like this here in Detroit.
So tell me about all those diamonds in the rough. How does a house sort of qualify for your program?
Well, first of all, we've targeted neighborhoods first. We wanted to pick some neighborhoods that had a lot of stability, but had a few houses that if we could correct them would really take the whole neighborhood and lift it up, lift up the property values and stop the spread of blight, making sure that houses like this that are open and exposed and potential objects for vandalism we made to make sure that these go away so that we preserve the rest of the neighborhood and make sure that the neighbors stick around. That's the goal, stopping the blight.
So what is the process for the actual rehab of this? How does that whole program work?
Well, what you really need to do is go in, assess the foundation of the structure, take a look at the roof. Can it be saved?
Right.
We've taken a preliminary look at this house. We think it's got a lot of potential. It's worth preserving. It's a little dark in here. Obviously, the windows are boarded up to keep the vandals out, so I got a light here for you, so you can take a look at what we've got.
So what is the history of the house? When was something like this built?
This house was built in 1937, according to the records that we have. And you see it's got some of the features of that era. You've got great molding in here, the nice archways, some of the architectural features that you know, people don't really use anymore. So
no, I mean, look at this, right? We've got sort of the tray ceiling, we've got the arched doorways. I mean, as you come around, even though the windows are boarded, good size.
yeah, and if there weren't boards on them, there'd be a lot of natural light coming in here. Exactly.
Sure. And then look at this. I mean, you know, you can see the family around the fireplace at one point, just like every other family.
Absolutely. And they've got, of course, the plug on the top so you can plug in your holiday decorations, all that kind of stuff. So there was a lot of thought that went into this place when it was built. And it's obviously very solidly constructed because it's been vacant for a few years. And the only thing that we really see when it comes to the plaster is the peeling paint.
Yeah, and what's going on? They've taken off the moldings to salvage them, maybe?
Well, no, what you see typically in a house like this, if somebody has gotten in and vandalized a little bit, you'll see that they go in here to get the window weights out because
No
they
way.
can sell them for scrap.
Just take the steel, the old iron.
They're heavy.
Wow. But, you know, if you do have a little bit of suspension of disbelief, you could see this as a dining room for the
Absolutely.
holidays. Oh, my word.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, here's what you have to look at in this kitchen. Yes, it's a total gut job, but that means you can make it whatever you want. You're not limited to what kitchens were in the 1930s anymore.
Right. But look,
So-
I mean, look at this. What happened to all this plumbing here?
It likely was scrapped by someone.
Just literally ripped the pipes out of the wall.
Well, depending on which pipes they could take. Now, if you look, they went into the wall over here, and you see that this is not the stuff they're looking for. They're looking for copper mostly.
Okay,
So they
so
left
this
that
is-
alone.
this is
So
a
they went in there to
steel
break in the
pipe.
wall to see what's there, and they're not as interested in that as they are in anything that's copper.
It looks like they tried to get into a bathroom.
And the other possibility here, and we don't know for sure, is that somebody else may have come in here and started thinking about whether or not they wanted to take this project on and decided against it. Let's go upstairs.
Oh man, why is it so full of stuff?
That's a good question, but this is not atypical.
This is very unsettling.
Well, you know, like, you never know the circumstances in which somebody was forced to leave this house. Sometimes they will leave behind everything and just go in the middle of the night.
But their, I mean, entire life is left behind in this house.
Well, it's unfortunate, but we do find this on occasion.
So your job is to start off with the clean out. Now that I understand why that makes sense.
Yes, the clean out will happen very soon, and that gives us a much better idea of exactly what it is we're dealing with in a house like this.
This is kind of heart-wrenching. I mean, how do you walk through dozens or even hundreds of these houses and remain optimistic about Detroit?
Well, because if this house is going to be saved, this is one less that we have to tear down. We think we can do it. We've had some success. We see people rehabbing houses all over the city. And I'll tell you what makes it worth it? When you're standing outside and the next door neighbor comes out and says, "Thank you for taking care of this house," that's why you keep doing it.
If you leave it like this, the situation's only going to get worse.
Exactly. So as you go back here, you notice this is actually a really nice sized lot for Detroit. This is a really nice yard, has a lot of potential back here.
Okay, and you guys will do landscaping before you sell it?
Yep, absolutely. We'll get some landscaping done, clean all this stuff up.
The house is a little overgrown too. You can see the vines going on. It looks like maybe at some time there was a porch there, but you know, you got a nice bump out, the brick's in good shape. You can see the potential.
Absolutely, and you couldn't really see it when we were in the kitchen, but that's a nice little dining area in that kitchen that you could
Right.
make, and it could be a great place for somebody to have their coffee in the morning.
So what's the next step for you guys?
First thing we've got to do is clean this place out.
Yes, you do. Wow, it is quite a difference once you clear this whole place out, when you get those boards off the windows and the panels on that at least let the light in.
Sure. Yeah, the place looks a little bit different than the last time you were here, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, with everything out of the second floor here. Look at this. So you can sort of see now the bones, you can see the floors, although you can also see just how much work is left to be done.
Well, you know, all of our houses in this program start out like this, and they always turn out great in the end. So we've got a lot of faith that this is going to get done because we have a great general contractor. He's right here. His name's Tom Abbott.
Hey, Tom. Kevin, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So you are a brave man. Now you get your hands full.
Very much so.
And what's your role with this project?
I'm the general contractor. I take care of all the programs or the projects that we're working on for the land bank right now.
And how many are you working on?
Right now, 15.
Wow, 15 at once.
Yeah, under construction.
So that's what's in progress. What about the ones you've already done?
We've completed about 30 of these so far.
Wow, that's unbelievable. All right. And then the prognosis for this house in terms of its condition and how long it's going to take?
This one's probably in a little rougher shape than some of the others we've done, but when we're completed, it'll look just like the others.
And how long is that completion you think going to take?
I think this one's going to be about 90 days.
90 days. That seems almost impossible to us.
Yeah.
All right. But so if you're the guy who's managing, what'd you say, 15 or so at one time?
That's correct.
Who's here doing the work day to day?
We hire a contractor for each project, and we've got him here today right now.
Can we meet him?
Yeah, it's down the living room. Derek,
Hey, what's going on, Tom? How you
good to
doing?
see you. Kevin, this is Derek.
Derek,
Hey.
nice to meet you.
How you feeling today?
He's done a couple of projects for us already, and this is going to be his third. I've got 14 more to do, so I'm going to get out of here and get to work.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
He's a busy man.
Yes, he is.
And you're about to be a busy man, too.
As long as he's busy, I'm busy.
All right. So what is your prognosis when you see a house like this? I mean, you've looked around.
When I come to this house, what I do is I see what's the potential, what's the possibilities. And the possibilities, this has the ability to be a beautiful house.
Okay. Well, you guys are starting to turn me into an optimist, too. In terms of specifics, what would you do to a house like this? In a living room like this, what do you do? What do you leave? What do you take out?
Well, when I first come in, the thing is this, these houses were built in 1940, 1930. So what we try to do is we try to make them modern, but keep the historical feel to it. So when we come in, we build our houses from the floors. So when we first came in, we saw these beautiful hardwood floors, a little scuffed up. But what we can do is we can come in and we can add from Reclaim Detroit, we can add in new tongue groove floors and bring back
Hatch where you have to.
Yeah, we'll bring it all the way out. So now the floors will be a focal point with this beautiful mantel.
So this is something you can save and will save?
Yeah, our goal is what we're gonna do is sand it down and bring it back to its original lure, and then we're gonna put a nice clear polyurethane on and make it pop. So this will be the focal point that comes into it.
I love to hear that. To hear that the floors are saved, details like this are saved. I mean, the plaster's pretty beat up. But I mean, when I see this code, we love it. Is this something that can be saved, these types of details?
You know what? That's a choice. On this particular one, our goal is to take the cove out. And the reason why we take the cove out is because if you look at the size of this room, it has no lights. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add 6 to 8 recessed cams with a nice track lighting right here to basically make this the focal point. So if you have a TV, when people come in, your furniture, people come in, this will be the first thing that people see. Beautiful hardwood floors, nice mantel, nice recessed lights.
No, well, it's sad to hear that the coves are going to go, but you are saving the house.
Yeah, we're gonna save the house. Actually, this was unique because in fact I grew up in this particular area, so I used to ride by and walk by these houses all the time. So the thing is to be able to be a part of the rebirth of Detroit and being able to bring back these houses one at a time is something I'm really excited about.
Well, that's awesome. Let's have a look at the kitchen.
Okay.
Curious to know what you're going to do in here.
Okay, Kevin, let me tell you my plans for this kitchen.
Boy, and this is a rough kitchen. Look at this place.
Well, it looks like America's nightmare right now, but when we finish, it'll be America's dream house.
And what do you do to it?
Well, the first thing we do is we basically open it up. Right now, everything is in the open concept. So our goal is to open this wall up anywhere between 24 to 36 inches.
Yep.
You don't need 2 doors.
Right, and that'll give you a nice clear view into the dining room.
Walk in, you have beautiful hardwood floors, you got the nice mantel, you leave in here, custom kitchen, nice ceramic tile on the floor.
So new tile here, beautiful.
New tile here, nice custom backsplash, new window, 42-inch cabinets up top. Down low will be all new cabinets with a dishwasher, garbage disposal, everything. So it'd be everything that people would need that would be updated.
What do you guys put in for countertops?
Well, basically, it's gonna be a nice granite countertop.
Nice, okay.
Yeah, so the granite
stone
countertop with the granite backsplash.
And I mean, I'm looking at this here. Is this a gut back to the studs?
This will be all the way to the studs.
Okay.
And that way we can give it a cleaner look.
Yeah. Well, so obviously this cove comes
cove will
out.
be gone.
The archway here, what do you do with that detail?
Well, we take the arch out because it actually dates the house, so our goal is to make it more contemporary.
Okay. You know, I like the bay with the boards off and the light coming through. You said that window goes. What happens to windows like these?
We replaced every window in the house. All new, double hung, well insulated, low E argon gas windows.
All right. So, you know, a new tile floor in here, stone countertops, cabinets, open floor plan. I can see it. This is going to be a good looking kitchen.
We had a running joke. Our goal was go from worst to first renovation. So our goal is to take this from the worst house to become the best.
Worst to first. I love that. All right. I have not been in the basement yet. Can we go
Let me
down
lead
there?
you down the way.
Yeah, you lead. I like that idea. So we couldn't even get down here a little while ago. There was so much stuff, so I'm glad to see that it's all cleaned out. And now that it is, what's your assessment?
I see it as an ideal basement.
Of course you do. But you do have to do something down here.
Well, as you see, these walls are bolted in a little bit. So our first thing would be to make sure that the foundation is secure. And we're going to secure that by basically putting some steel beams to make sure that the wall is secure.
Okay, I'm looking at a fuse box behind you. A full electrical upgrade for you guys?
That's a given. Everything in here will be brand new 100 amp box.
And there's remnants of the old heating system. What do you guys put in?
Well, we actually try to make everything energy efficient. So we're going to put a 90% energy efficient furnace and a 90% energy efficient hot water tank.
Yep, so full upgrade on the systems, all right. So what do you think when you hear 90 days?
I think 60 days. I try to always be optimistic.
Really, you're underbidding him?
Yes, I'll see you in 60 days.
And when do you get started?
Monday morning.
All right, we'll follow you every step of the
Okay.
way. Thanks, Derek.
Our other Detroit project is about 10 minutes away in the Russell Woods neighborhood.
Security is a big issue here in Detroit. As construction begins, we need to protect our tools and anything that we install from theft. Today, we're installing an alarm system. Hey, Wes.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
What's going on?
Yeah, we're just getting the new alarm system installed. This was the old system, basically a glorified keypad.
And that was tied into that big mess of wires that I saw downstairs.
Yes, it was tied into there. All the cables and the connections would go to that box and that siren. And now the new system here is all self-enclosed. Everything's included. Cellular radio, backup battery, siren is all in one system here.
So this is completely wireless.
Yes, completely wireless. And typically what would happen is the burglar would come through and cut the telephone lines. You would never be notified.
Oh, okay.
So now with this system all being cellular, there's nothing to cut. So within 10 seconds after the alarm goes off, your phone's ringing.
Makes sense. This is where the heart of the operation is. What else is there?
Well, let me show you.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the new technology, the new motion detector. What makes this one different than the old motion detectors is this actually has a still shot night vision camera inside of it. So as soon as somebody breaks into the home, it's instantly taking a picture. So it just caught us as we were coming through into here, and it should have snapped a picture. Yep, and here it is.
Look at that.
Yep. The other cool thing that we installed was an automatic deadbolt. So this automatic deadbolt will automatically lock your house if you forgot to. And what's even better is as soon as you put your code in when you come home, not only does it open up the deadbolt, it automatically disarms. So you're not having to disarm twice.
That's neat. That's really neat.
And the other nice thing that we did is we'll put a full HD camera on the back of this garage.
Great.
What makes this camera different, what's really exciting about it, is that you can actually zoom into 4 different areas of that same image and be able to get real good close facial images.
Wow.
Right with that one shot.
That's great. And what's going on over here?
And Mike's he's going to be installing the wireless sensor. So the typical wireless sensors that you've seen before are the big bulky boxes.
Sure.
Yeah, they're kind of an eyesore. So what's new is these ones right here. This is a wireless plunger. It gets inserted into the door frame, and it takes a watch battery, lasts about 5 years.
That's great.
There you go, Mike.
Thanks, sir.
All right, well, I'd like to hear this. Can we test it?
Sure, we can give it a shot. So we'll go ahead and we'll give it a makeshift. And then you press the lock button right on here. Automatically locks the door. Okay, we'll test it out. I'm just going to go ahead and unlock it.
All right.
We're going to force it to go off. Yep.
I don't think anyone's going to steal anything from this job site.
No, I think we're okay.
Nice job, Wes.
Thanks.
That was good.
Thank you.
All right.
The alarm system is installed and working, and most of the roof is sealed up. Now, Tommy left a little section here in the back of the house open, and Tom, I guess this has got something to do with that decision?
Well, this back part of the house right here where it's leaking was from the roof and the flashing that runs up the wall. But if you look over here, there's actually peeling paint along here and some leaking that came in here. And I think that's from ice dams.
Okay, so we'll fix that with a new roof and flashing. How are you going to fix this?
Well, I want to blow cellulose insulation up there. Now, I could drill some holes in the ceiling, but I don't want to do any more damage to the plaster. So what I did is I had the roofer leave a small section of the roof off so we can climb in there or stick a hose in there and fill it with insulation.
Good.
Yeah.
Go on, Tommy.
Hey,
Kevin.
Frank.
So we've rented this insulation machine. Could you tell me a little about how it works?
Well, it actually works like a vacuum cleaner in reverse. We're going to load it up. It's going to suck the insulation down through the bottom, and it's going to push it out through the hose up there. So we keep loading it up, and we keep driving it in. Before you know it, we'll have plenty of insulation up there.
And how about this? Let's meet with your approval, Tommy.
Yep, that's cellulose insulation. It's recycled newspaper and paper, ground up and treated with borate, so it has a fire retardant and an insecticide in it, and has a great R factor.
All right, where do you want me?
All right, why don't you load the machine? Frank and I will go up and start blowing it in, and we'll try to get about 12 inches, which will give us around an R45.
Sounds good.
All right, so what I did is I took the hose and I put a stick on the end of it. Okay. That will allow us to reach in there, way in, and direct the hose around the perimeter, because we'll start tight against the eaves and work our way in, gradually filling it up. All right, Kevin, fire it up. Going in there really good. Fill all those voids in. We're gonna put in more than we want, so it'll settle down. You can see the studs right there. We're blowing it right down there, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
You know, the more insulation we get in there, the more money you're going to save on your heating and cooling bill.
Great.
Frank, there you go. Now the good thing is that you had about 6 inches of fiberglass insulation in your existing attic. We added about 8 inches on top of it. So you're going to have more than enough insulation to keep the snow melting on the roof and the ice dams from forming.
Sounds good.
All right, so Frank, what do you got up for next time?
I've got some demolition planned for the kitchen and bathrooms.
I'd love to hear that. So until then, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Tom Silva.
And I'm Frank Pope.
For This Old House here in Detroit. How's it look?
It looks good, yeah.
Next time on This Old House, we'll visit another home renovation in Detroit, but this one is slightly larger. This breathtaking estate is where automotive pioneer Henry Ford and his wife Claire lived for over 30 years. Right now, there is a massive effort to restore and preserve the estate, and today we're going to have a look at the work going on inside.
And we start replacing some old drain lines. Fun. That's next time on This Old House.
Today on This Old House, it's demolition day in the kitchen.
We'll visit another home renovation in Detroit, but this one is slightly larger.